You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Ready to stand out, Army ROTC prepares you not only as a college student, but as a strong leader, allowing you to earn the rank of second lieutenant. You will be eligible for full tuition merit-based scholarships and develop leadership skills essential for your future. Start strong and enhance your college experience. Visit your campus Army ROTC representative today. To find out how you can earn up to a full tuition scholarship, visit goarmy.com/podcast to locate your closest ROTC program today. Army officers inspire, strengthen others. Paid for by the United States Army.
At the LASIK Vision Institute, we know LASIK is a big decision, and every one of our patients is unique. That's why we customize your LASIK journey to you.
I only have a certain budget.
No problem. Right now at the LASIK Vision Institute, get 20% off LASIK when treated in April. That can be over $900 off when treating both eyes, plus guaranteed financing options. So visit getlvilasik.com today to start your journey towards 20/20 vision. Must mention this promotion and be treated in April of 2024 to qualify. 20% off standard price of wave light procedure. Cannot be combined with any other offers. Go to getlvilasik.com for details. At the LASIK Vision Institute, we know LASIK is a big decision, and every one of our patients is unique. That's why we customize your LASIK journey to you.
I'm so busy right now.
We offer a mix of convenient days and times, including 30-minute virtual appointments to fit your schedule.
I would love it, but I have astigmatism.
We treat thousands of patients with astigmatism every month with great outcomes. The LASIK Vision Institute is making your journey towards 20/20 vision all about you. So visit getlvilasik.com today to start your LASIK journey.
I am Conor McGregor, multiple weight MMA champion. I'm a fighter and I've been through many battles in the octagon. Many consider my fights in the octagon heroic, but the real-life heroes are those men and women who fight to protect us every day. The real-life fighters, the real-life heroes, are the firefighters and police officers. These first responders are true heroes, because these brave men and women put themselves in the line of danger every single day protecting us all. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation ensures that first responders from fire, EMS and police departments who are killed in the line of duty with young children have a home without the burden of a mortgage. They are my heroes. They need our help today. I'd like to ask you to join me in donating $11 a month to support their efforts. Your $11 a month honours and supports our first responders. Please call now at 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No.
And welcome to
Our
another
blades are
episode of
great.
The Cocktail Lounge.
Each
I am
razor
your
has
hostess,
stainless steel blades, an aloe
Aggie,
vera
and
lubricating
with me,
strip,
as
and a
always,
pivot
is
head.
the ever
It's so
suave
gentle a
Brad
toddler could use
Slager.
it. And do you
How are you
like
doing
spending
this evening,
$20
Brad?
a month on
I hear
brand
there's
name
hockey
razors?
playing
19
somewhere.
go to Roger Federer.
Oh, there is.
I'm good at tennis. And do you
Playoff
think your
time is
razor
upon
needs
us.
a vibrating handle, a
Yeah.
flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades?
I made time for you
Your
and
handsome-ass
us.
grandfather had
Watching
one
the game
blade
while
and
talking to you.
polio.
I
Looking good, Papa.
don't know what to say.
Stop paying for shave
I'm
tech you
so
don't
touched
need.
that
And
you would
stop
take
forgetting to buy
time
your
from your
blades
busy
every month.
schedule of
Alejandro and I are
hockey
gonna ship 'em
watching
right to you.
to actually do your podcast.
Well, you know, I'm dedicated like that, but not on Thursday. Me and Paul are recording early. I have a watch party to go to. So
Oh, like right now?
no, Thursday. I said
Okay.
we'll be recording, and then I can go and watch the game while we entertain everybody with our horrific movie selections, and we have a horrific one this week.
And you cannot tell us what it is, can you?
I will tease it in this fashion. It has a commuting theme to it. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Yeah, I got nothing. There's so many. I mean, there's so
But
many.
there is a particular aspect of the film you'll be interested in.
Okay. Man, now this is going to cook my noodle.
See? That's how you tease interest. That's how you get everybody excited.
I'm going to be like, damn it, what movie could this be? I'd be like stewing on this for days. Thursday's going to arrive, and I'll just be angry, irrationally so, because I still won't know.
And then my goal has been accomplished, hasn't it?
Yes.
How about you? What's been going on over in Texas?
Well, we had quite a few storms roll through. We had a really, really big rainstorm system that happened to just like take a seat on Saturday and just stick around all day. So I took advantage of not being able to go anywhere, and I painted rocks. That was kind of nice. I mean, I sat there for hours painting rocks, and I get a lot of people a lot of you have received rocks, and they look pretty simplistic and everything, but it does take a long time to make them because it's not just one layer of paint. There's several layers of paint that you have to apply at several stages, and then to the details and all that stuff. So, but it was nice to just sit there and do that, and it was very calming. Next thing I know, it's like dinner time, and I'm like, oh crap, I haven't done anything. So pasta night. I did creamy garlic pasta, and that was good. But so all Saturday it rained, and then it rained again Monday. I have not had to water any of my flower beds, so that's been nice. My grass is very green, but the lake has risen several feet.
Dangerously so?
Well, the couple of, I want to say Monday morning, Tuesday morning, Monday, yesterday morning, because today's Tuesday. The water was level with the dock. It's normally like 1.5 feet lower. And I was like, yeah, that's not good. But it's draining. It's draining. It's just that the water was coming in faster than it was draining out. But such is living out here in the boondocks. And and I spent yesterday helping to chop trees.
Of course.
We had several trees that were down. So now we have a bunch of wood for our fire pit, so that's nice. But
I was less productive than that because Sunday basically they really ramped up the playoffs, so there was no shortage of entertainment. It was 4 games played in total. Panthers had to play at 12:30. Made no damn sense. But this is the NHL. They're not big on making sense a lot of the time. But I partook in a game, savored it, and then we went out to the tavern for game 2, came back, and I just vegetated, watched all 4, had more last night. Every single game means something. It's a pretty damn good time of the year. Crap ton of hockey every single night, and everything means something.
I'm sure that it has been very exciting. Personally speaking, I enjoy hockey. I seldom get to watch it, but I enjoy it simply for I don't want to say it's the roughness of it. I want to say it's more like it's the roughness.
Absolutely.
I mean, I grew up with, the 3 major sports in Puerto Rico are baseball, basketball, and boxing. And if there's no fight in the basketball court, and if there's no fight on the pitcher's mound, I feel bereft, because that was like all the time. Growing up, we would go to see these intramural, sports, and invariably every night there was a fight breaking out somewhere. So I grew up with that, and boxing is like our thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
except boxing has fallen by the wayside anymore.
Yeah, it has become rather soft, in my opinion. So I kind of dig UFC, I guess, MMA and everything.
Well, we were laughing the other night because we went out and there was some other, what do they call it? The PFL, I think, the Professional Fight League. It's like yet another octagon MMA tour. But what cracked me up was basically every single possible inch of the octagon had advertising on it. Including OnlyFans.
Oh, my word.
So they had co-sponsorship. It's like onlyfans.com/PFA or whatever, PFL, whatever the hell they are. They have their own dedicated OnlyFans page? What are you doing? What?
I can't. Remember when Pornhub had that thing where, if you I don't know if it was purchase something or download one of their videos, they would like plant a tree or something.
Jeez.
Trying to save the rainforest. Exactly. I died. I mean, somebody came up with a meme and said that the earth afterwards is covered in trees, even the Sahara. The Arctic, everything had trees.
Yeah, so somebody walks in on you and you're there on the sofa naked, covered in Vaseline. What are you doing? I'm saving the planet.
I'm saving the planet. That's right. Oh man, good times.
Rather desperate.
Yeah, I remember when you and I were growing up boxing, there was no advertising in the ring.
Not too much. There was like
it would have the name of the casino or the name of the arena or whatever, and that was pretty much it that I saw.
Yeah, and usually Budweiser had the like the corner post, maybe.
Yeah, something.
And Don King would have his logo on the.
Yep, the little crown thing.
But the thing is, boxing would only take place like every few months. If there was a heavyweight fight, it meant you're probably 18 months from the next one. So they had to do welter, and they had to do middleweight. They had to try to develop names, but you wouldn't see significant contests for months at a time. So MMA has actually figured it out where they have much more regular build-up events. And, usually these are maybe mounting up to the big fight and stuff, but for the most part, they're always significant. It seems like. And, they do the pay-per-view and the bars are packed and people are coming out for it. Now all these other leagues have come up and they basically figured out people want this. Give it to them instead of, we'll get around to it maybe after Christmas next year. Okay. So that's a thing. Mike Tyson's apparently making a comeback.
Oh, this ought to be good. I'm not going to lie. I'm actually kind of looking forward to that melee.
I'm cracking up because he's like, 61, 62 or something.
Well, I know he's older than we are. Yeah.
I'm just thinking of the crowd because he's fighting Aaron Paul. So the people watching this fight are either going to know who Mike Tyson is or they're going to know who Aaron Paul is, not both. So whoever the Aaron Paul fans are going to say, well, who's this Mike Tyson asshole?
Okay. Danielle just posted possibly the funniest Mike Tyson meme of all time. But Mike Tyson has achieved a certain legendary status where, a lot of people that didn't grow up watching him or even they all know that he is, who he is and what he's done and how fierce he can be in the ring. I happen to think that anyway, but that's just my experience with people, in my family who are younger, who didn't grow up, who have absolutely no concept of the rules of boxing, much less having watched a boxing match. They actually know who he is. So, probably because of his notoriety, probably because of the ear thing, quite possibly because of the Robin Givens thing. I mean, the man he's not a saint. So there's that.
But the thing is, when he was hot, I remember distinctly, like his matches were renowned for going half a round. And I remember going to somebody's house. They had actually paid, I think, at the time, $60 to watch it at their house, which at the time was exorbitant.
$59.95. That's right.
And we were all kind of like filtering into their apartment, watching the undercard a little bit. But then right when the match was started, there had been 20 people in his house. And, and he was probably like, oh, yeah, I got all this money. I put this down. And then basically we're just settling in and the fight was over. Mm-hmm. And everybody's like, well, I'm going to go. And
what was his name? The guy that he just knocked out, the one with the glass jaw. He ended up doing a pizza commercial. I think it was the stuffed crust pizza where, eat it with eat the crust first, and he turns it around and hits his jaw, and then he knocks himself out. He was actually lampooning himself. I forgot his name, but I don't think that lasted 20 seconds.
Yeah, it was just bizarre that he's trying to make a comeback at this age, but hey,
I thought you were making fun of it's Jake Paul, not Aaron Paul. I thought you were making fun of the actor. Because
either way, I have no idea who the asshole is. So there you go. Yeah, that's right, Jake Paul. But where's he from? Why should I know this guy? Is he a YouTuber or something?
Absolutely no idea where he came from. I don't know his backstory whatsoever. I've not seen any of his stats, his training schedule, nothing. I don't know. And normally, weird as this may sound, because I'm not the most sports-oriented person, I actually pay attention to those things simply because that's how I hung out with my uncle and my cousins, and this is what we did when we were little. So I haven't heard of this guy. I mean, I have no idea. And everybody's like, oh, it's going to be tough and all that stuff. And I'm like, who is this? If it's so tough, I mean, you remember Lennox Lewis when he was up and coming and everything. Everybody was telling you the stats and everything. And even in the small, boxing fights that he was doing before he became a big name and he was fighting the big names in the heavyweight and all that stuff. People were like tracking these people. They're always being tracked. People were keeping score, so to speak, on who was beating who. This guy came out and I have no idea who this guy is. I thought I was still paying attention, but apparently I'm not, because I have no idea where he came from.
It's kind of like a stunt fight, really. I mean,
I guess.
I think I don't know. I want to say YouTube or TikTok or some nonsense, and he's been kind of getting into MMA and such, and then I don't know if he got lippy with Tyson or what it was, but somehow this has come up as a thing now.
You have to have really good self-esteem, very positive attitude. You must be very confident in your workout schedule, and you must have balls of steel to go up against Mike Tyson, because the guy spent time in prison and he wasn't there crocheting doilies, okay? He has assaulted people in and out of the ring, regardless of sex or how they identify. I mean, a lot of people call him an animal for a reason. This guy, so I'm pretty sure that he understands the assignment, and he might be sure he's not going to win, but he's going to make it look good. I don't know. He might get lucky. Who knows?
Yeah.
There have been some that have beaten Mike Tyson, but Mike Tyson is not the type to showcase a fight. I mean, he's out there to win. And, that his entire purpose is to win. So I don't know. I don't know how this is going to play out.
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really have an interest, I should say. I could care less about this one.
I'm sorry. This is why I have no idea who this guy is. Not only is he 27, thank you, Jeff, for the stats. He's only had 10 fights.
Yeah.
Like I don't start paying attention until you hit 20. Okay.
And who has he fought? There you go. It's why do I care about this? He's known for YouTubing, not for boxing, is what it comes down to. So there it is.
So that should be an interesting fight. But
it's cracked me up.
prefer.
This past week, the WNBA, I can't get away from this damn.
Oh, God. I swear, these people make women look really bad.
Well, the thing is this. It's not the players. No,
not the
they're
players.
okay. It's all of the damn activists and journalists surrounding this and creating it into a fiasco when it shouldn't be. I mean, geez. So, all of the hype came out of March Madness.
Mm-hmm.
And, the women were playing so well. And Caitlin Clark just was electrifying everything. And then she became the number 1 draft pick in the WNBA. And, great. Everyone knew that. It was expected. Now the activists have come out. Oh, she's not getting paid the same amount as NBA players.
You are correct. She is not.
Now, proper thinking individuals would hear that and basically have the same measured response of, well, no shit. But they're saying, oh, the lowest paid NBA player is making 1.1 mil a year or something like that. And she's only making 56 for an entire year. And there needs to be a fair wage. And Steph Curry makes as much in one game as they make in an entire season. And
okay, so I get why they're bitching about it. But you're right. I mean, endorsements are part of the deal. People coming to watch the games is part of the deal. NBA makes a lot more money than the WNBA does. Everybody knows this.
A lot more money. Okay. For starters, when you talk about the NBA, you have to measure everything in billions of dollars. Okay.
Yeah.
Revenue and profit and everything else. I mean, the TV contract alone was, I think it was a 4-year, $23 billion deal. They average about 8.5 to 9 billion annual in revenues, in various aspects of things. The WNBA, let's see, last turn to profit, never.
They've never had a profit. No.
Their annual revenue is measured in tens of millions of dollars, like 60 million, I want to say, 60 to 80, somewhere in that range. Minuscule fraction of what the NBA takes in. And they don't turn a profit. They lost $12 million last year. They're subsidized by the NBA. So when people talk about a fair wage, well, if that's true, if you want to apply the word fair to this, then the women should be paying the league in order to pay. It's just the way it is.
That's exactly it. Yes.
So there's that issue. Now, this is what's cracking me up. It guaranteed that there has to be something to bitch about. If you're a journalist or an activist, you have to. So here's the issue. It was pointed out a few days ago, Caitlin Clark is going to make a lot more money outside the league, with endorsements, and she's already appearing in commercials, and there's a number of other things she's doing. And then the announcement came that her and Nike just struck a deal to the tune of about $10 million annual. She's going to have her own sneaker. All right, well, there you go, you bitch faces. She's making a mint. Okay, she hasn't even taken a shot yet. So there you go. Everything's good. She's getting her money. Yay, women are getting recognized. Yay. No. No. We got everything fixed. We took care of the problem. You guys have nothing less to bitch about. Oh, wait a second. There is something we can bitch about. I just love this. Mike Freeman at the USA Today news outlet If you're not familiar with the name, I'll just describe him in this fashion. He is basically the Jamil Hill of USA Today.
Oh God. I'm already bracing myself.
So you think it might be great? Hey, all right, Caitlin Clark got her money. She got her shoe deal and everything else. It's a gigantic problem that no black players in the WNBA have shoe deals.
Oh dear. Oh dear, dear, dear. Really?
So even when we fix the problem they're bitching about, they find something else to bitch about.
And there will always be a problem with somebody. They have to find a problem.
The lack of black WNBA players with a signature shoe is a gigantic problem, says Mike Freeman.
Lord, I don't think I have enough gin for this. But go on.
I have a question for Mike Freeman. Since he's so hung up on race and equality and fairness, is he going to complain about the disparity of white NBA players with shoe deals compared to how many black players have shoe deals?
Oh yeah, but the white people
because
don't deserve it.
it would be because there's based on population counts and everything, it should be no, because the black players are much better players and they bring in more money and they earn more and they sell more shoes, so it's totally exactly. Now apply that theory to the WNBA and promptly shut the hell up.
I would pay bank for a lingerie league, though. Not gonna lie. I know that has nothing, but I've got to fixate going. Isn't there a football league that does that? Scantily clad women.
Oh yeah, there used to be
playing football.
The lingerie football league. Sure, I've been to their finals before.
Of course you have. I think they should do the same thing with basketball. I mean, I would pay for season tickets.
I'm just saying.
I don't even live near a team.
I'm just going to say, if you scan the rosters of your average WNBA team, no.
Okay.
I'll just say this. I've seen pictures of Brittany Griner topless.
Oh, it's a guy.
It's a dude.
It's a dude. I've seen the before and after. It's a dude. They try to say, oh no, she's a female. No, may identify as female, but she's not born a female. No, sorry. Yeah. And for proof, all you have to see is where Brittany Griner was placed in jail over when she was in Russia. She was placed in a male jail, not a female one.
Well, how about that, huh? It's a wow.
Yeah, because in Russia they don't deal with that shit. So,
well, that completely that others her and distinguishes her as something other than how she self-identifies, and that's so mean of them to do.
Okay, I'm gonna give it to Jeff. Kelsey Plum is on the hot side.
Yeah. I'm not saying every play. I mean, sure, there's going to be a couple lookers here and there. You'll find a few that can pull it off, but most of them you don't want them to pull it off. That's all I'm saying.
I was in a conversation with my niece. She is currently an MP for the Army, and she played basketball throughout her junior high and high school years. She was center. And she was in varsity and all that stuff. And, she was the star, that kind of thing. And had she wanted to go to college, she would have, gone into basketball as well and everything. And she just opted to go straight into the Army because that's what she wanted to do. And she's very headstrong. So there was no force on this planet that could stop her. So anyway, we were talking about that, about Caitlin Clark breaking the record and, how exciting it was and everything. And she said, the dreaded words of every single young person. They're not paid fairly in the WNBA. And so I actually had to break it down for her. And I said, look, first of all, the WNBA does not make any money. And she says, well, of course, they have to make money. How else do the players get paid? And I was like, well, this is why they don't get paid a lot. This is why the NBA has far more lucrative deals and more, they get paid more than they do in the WNBA. And I mean, I broke it down for her and everything. And I'm gratified to have seen like the light come on. And she said, that does make sense. Now I understand it. She was told growing up playing basketball that it should be equitable because they're playing the same game. But the basketball coach never explained where the money comes from. They never explained, right, how these professional athletes actually earn endorsements, and that's where most of their money comes from. And so, once I was talking to her via video chat, I could tell in her face that she was like, I didn't know. I nobody ever explained it to me in that way. And I said, and I told her, I said, and that I don't do college basketball. Basketball is a game that I used to enjoy a long time ago and have fallen off from it, but I don't follow it very closely. I don't have a particular affinity or brand loyalty or anything like that. So it's not like I'm trying to defend the NBA versus the WNBA. It's just that I'm trying to tell her this is the breakdown of the numbers. I said it's always about who is bringing more money to the franchises, who is bringing more money to that particular sport. And the money's not there for NBA, WNBA.
The ones that are bitching about this. Oh, no other women have shoe deals. Well, do they really think that there are companies out there walking away from potential sales like that? Like, well, they have a hot selling shoe, but they won't give it to her because she's a woman. That's a load of crap. If Nike could sell 30,000 units in a week, they'll do it. They just happen to think that Caitlin Clark is hot right now. She's a big name. They saw the ratings.
Oh, yeah. Everybody knows who she is.
She's just the hot ticket right now. So they can maybe market off of her. They can bank off of her name and get a shoe out there. Good luck naming 3 or 4 other WNBA players at all.
Nope.
You can't.
I can only name one other NBA player, and that was Cheryl Swoops. That was it. That's the only one I remember. And the reason I remember her was that when she started in the WNBA, she was married and had kids. And then when she retired, she got divorced and came out. So it was kind of a big deal. Like it was this whole telenovela unfolding. But that's the only reason I remember her name.
So the league turned her.
I guess.
I just, if there was marketability there, they would do it, is all I'm saying. It's, Nike or any other company is not prone to walk away from making money. It's pretty much the polar opposite of what they're charged with doing as a company.
Take advantage. And sometimes you will fail, as in when they decided to give Dylan Mulvaney sponsorship for sports bras and yoga pants. But
but see, that is different in this regard. That was more of a lost leader. That was more of social signaling going on.
Yes, exactly.
Because there is no market. I'm sorry to say it, but the trans population of this country numbers less than 1%. No company is making money off of that figure. And that's just if you count all of them. That's not the fraction of that number who's going to buy these sports bras that Dylan Mulvaney put on. So that's all the evidence you need right there that they were doing this out of a signaling activist position. It wasn't, there was no way in hell they were going to make money off Dylan Mulvaney. I'm sorry. It's not possible.
No.
Whatever they paid Dylan Mulvaney, that money isn't coming back into the company. I'm telling you now. But this is the realities of economics that they don't want to look at when they bitch about these things. So, will Caitlin Clark become a financial commodity? We'll see. I'm dubious because let's face it, WNBA, I think they average around 6,000 a game. Not significant. NBA is 15 to 20, depending on the franchise, of course. And that just doesn't translate to wild shoe sizes. There's not going to be massive amounts of Caitlin Clark shoes flying off the shelves. You're going to have your interested parties. You're going to have your girls in high school that play. Probably will get into it, sure. And that's about it. You're going to tap out. I don't know that you're going to have regular people not playing the game buying shoes of famous players like they do in the NBA. So,
right.
We'll see. Nike wants to do it. That's up to Nike. I'm not going to sit there and well, how come you have any black players? That's just knee-jerk activism right there. That's all it is. Hey, you're in the press. You have to do that. That's required. You have to do that. Which is laughable, but there we are.
It's super ridiculous. And I would say, no, that's actually not their job. Their job is to report facts, and sports figures and stuff like that. But, sensationalism has taken the place of journalism. So they have to go make hay out of something every time.
It's it's comical to point out common sense, and they become baffled by it. But speaking of common sense and a lack thereof in the press, what's been going on college campuses lately?
Oof. Están en fuego. My word. It is, and it is spreading. Like literally like a fire. It's spreading. Do
you recall, and I mean, I'm probably going to be dredging stuff way back in the past when Donald Trump was president.
Oh gosh, that was so long ago.
I remember the press complaining about anti-Semitism. I remember that Donald Trump was supposedly fostering this. I remember when just the most strained examples were trotted out and held up as normal. Like some homeless guy's off his meds and, took a leak on the side of a temple somewhere accidentally. Say anti-Semitism, this is Donald Trump's fault. They had to build that kind of crap up.
Right, they did.
They had to find it. They had to go look for it. We're looking at wave after wave of protests where it's not just maybe the war should end. They're calling for the death of Israel. They want Jews dead. They're harassing Jews on campus. The other day, some Jewish students were walking through the Commons trying to get into a building, and they were barricaded from entering by the protesters.
Yep. And it has gotten severely out of hand. Now the faculty in several universities are participating in these protests. And I don't know if anybody else follows him, but Oscar Rosenthal over on Twitter did have a tweet saying how universities can actually fire tenured teachers. They just won't do it. And it's true. They will not do it. And this is one of the problems that you have with administration in almost every single college and university. And how some, the myth is once you achieve tenure, you're no longer fireable. Mm-hmm. That's a complete myth. You can get fired. And one of them is dereliction of your, of your job. If you're walking out and you're not protesting for your union, that's dereliction of your job. You can get fired for protesting at these pro-Palestinian little get-togethers that they're having on campuses now. One other reason that he was saying is if they refuse to be accountable for the actions of their students. That's another fireable offense. Because you go in with the understanding you are the professor, these are your students, and you do have rules whereby they have to adhere in order to be in that classroom. That's part of your contract. And if you don't adhere to your own rules, that's a fireable offense at certain universities. I know it is at Texas A&M. But these administrations will not do it. They really do feel, oh, they have tenure. I can't get rid of them. No, you can. You can totally get rid of them. They just won't, because it's you actually have to work at it, something. You have to work at doing it. And let's face it, most administrations here, they don't work. They don't do anything. They just show up. They pretend something's bad so that they fix it, or pretend to fix it, and then they go home. That's pretty much all they do all day. I know. I used to volunteer at the admissions office at Texas A&M. I witnessed it firsthand, and this was back in '87. So,
but see, here's the main problem you're addressing right there. Is what's going on college campuses is the same thing we just saw taking place at NPR. Everybody's of the same mind. There's no two sides. There's not, one side or the other are looking at each other, and therefore there's no accountability because everybody's on the same team. And it's just like, you probably really shouldn't have done that. So we're not, and they're not going to therefore punish anybody. And when the students act up like this and start belly aching, now they want Jews wiped off the planet, and the college is like, well, we kind of have to let them voice their opinion, and everybody, no, you don't. You're allowed to be the one that delivers accountability. That's a possibility. And we're starting to see a little bit of that. Like the real comedy was Ilhan Omar's daughter.
Oh, that was
has
precious.
Now been kicked out of college because of her protesting, and now she's allegedly homeless.
She was living in an apartment, so I'm not sure how it is that the school was responsible for kicking her out of the apartment too. Unless the apartment is actually an apartment that's a dorm, but
maybe her landlord is Jewish. Wouldn't that be delicious?
But here's the thing: these pro-Palestinian protests are actually attacking Jewish citizens here in the United States for the actions of a country with which they're not attached. Well, admittedly, they're attached by religion, by faith, but they don't live in Israel. They're not responsible for what Israel is doing. So
but the idiocy is this: they're protesting they're ostensibly, I should say. Their justification of it is, well, the school is invested in companies that are fueling the war and supporting Israel, that kind of bullshit.
No,
but that's their excuse to gather so they can then say, get rid of the Jews.
And that's what it boils down to. This is about getting rid of a group of people. And it's not about Israel. It's not about what Israel and Hamas are up to over in the Middle East. It's not about that. It's about using that as an excuse to get rid of the ones here, to ostracize actual American citizens. And nobody sees that this is beyond egregious. It's almost as if they don't learn about World War II. I've talked about how in Germany, you don't get to learn about the years between 1933 and 1945 until you're in gymnasium, which are, to us, it would be the equivalent of 11th and 12th grade. So most people graduate with a diploma at 9th grade. And most of them, all they know about that period is what they have heard from their parents, or, they have heard from other people, or maybe they actually took time to go to the library and read up on it, but it is not actually taught in school. It's very carefully monitored. Germany tries to filter that out until you're old enough to be able to process it, which I think is a mistake, but I'm not Germany. I don't know. And because of the issue of having squelched it for so long, they've been seeing a rise in the nihilists and the pro-Nazis back again. And they don't understand why that's going on. And I'm like, because you didn't teach them how bad it was.
No.
And then when you had the opportunity to teach them how bad it was, you were so careful to be neutral that you did not drive home how horrific they were. And it wasn't just the Jews, as well, you know, but the Jews were the ones that they kept tabs on. Those are the ones that we have extremely careful records on, because they wanted to make sure that they were eradicated. So this was
the whole danger of that upswelling in 2020 with the Black Lives Matter riots, and they were taking down all the statues and they were getting rid of any mention of slavery. It's like, you dumb shits. That's how you get slavery to come back. By denying that past, you're then making a pathway for it to return.
And it's here. And nobody is recognizing that. The only people recognizing that are the ones that the media and the administration are trying to shut up.
Well, that's the entire thing. It's like I started out with. When it was Donald Trump, anything that could build up to anti-Semitism, they jumped on it. You have outright rampant Semitism taking place now, and they're not. The Washington Post came out. Well, they're anti-war protests. That's how they're describing it. The New York Times said, oh, they're gathering on the commons, ordering pizza and dancing. It's like, I saw the videos where they're calling for death. And you can't tell me they're not anti-war when they're calling for a global antifida to take place.
First of all, anti-war, I would believe it if we were at war. If we were the ones that were somewhere around the world fighting, that I would believe. But these are there's 4 countries that are having their own fights right now, at least 4, possibly more that we are not being told about, but at least 4 that are having their own fights that we're helping to fund. And they're not here. They're not us. But they're saying, oh, we're anti-war. Then you know what? Pack up your shit, go over there and say you're anti-war over there where the war is at. But they won't, because that's not the point of this. The point of this is to ostracize the Jewish population, to get rid of them, to make sure that they live in fear again. And never again was not said idly. Never again is a very powerful statement. And they're trying to erase that too.
But it baffles me how the press can do such a wild swing in such a short period of time. I mean, it used to be, anti-Semitism was just your third rail. You just didn't do it. And now they're finding ways to permit it.
To not just permit it, but to foster it, to shroud it, to actually...
they're students and they're just expressing themselves and they're calling for the death of people.
That's not an expression of yourself. An expression of yourself is, I want to take interpretive dance. No, lady, you're 53 and in a wheelchair, but I still want to take it. That's expressing yourself. That's expressing yourself, not this. This is not an expression of yourself. You're literally calling for the death of people. That's not an expression of yourself. And if it is, then there's something wrong with you.
And there is a faction that has gone to school because they're in love with that romanticized 1960s anti-government vibe. They want to protest. They want to be activists. They want to be difference makers.
They're a bunch of assholes. They become the man. They support the man.
But we saw this, what was it, a couple weeks ago? What was the damn school? Vanderbilt.
Yes.
Where they occupied the dean's office or something like that on behalf of the Israeli war. It's like, you're in Tennessee. What the hell are you doing? The dean can't do anything regarding the war, okay? And I found out that the asshole that instigated this whole thing, and yes, I called him an asshole, he's from Florida. He did the same thing in high school when he went to school here.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, they would stage school walkouts because they were fighting the Don't Say Gay law and things of this nature. He's been to the White House. He's met Biden. He's a freaking activist by trade. Okay. And the crack me up is after he got bounced, the school finally did something right and suspended him. He's like, oh, I thought I was going to come to college to avoid this small town, small minded thinking. It's like, you dumb shit. I can pull your high school up on a map. You were at a beach in Florida. You weren't like in a wooden shack in the middle of West Virginia. Stop it. Okay. He was up in the Space Coast. His school is literally like 4 miles from the beach.
Oh, for goodness sake.
I mean, he's just a natural activist. That's what he wants to do. And this is a mentality of so many of these in college. I'm not saying everybody. People are going to college to learn for the most part. But the ones that get all the attention and get in the media and get on TV are these assholes camping out in the commons. What are you doing? Why? You're living in a tent. What are you accomplishing? Well, we're making a stand for Israel. Do you really think Bibi Netanyahu gives a rat's ass what's going on inside your tent? I can tell you defiantly, no. So give it up. You're not making a difference. But this is what we have to contend with. And the media is playing with it. That's the thing that drives me crazy, is that they're calling for the death of a race. And the press is like, well, are they? Yes, yeah, I saw it on video.
They fucking are.
I got one. I put it in my column today. She's her last name is Hilton with a Y.
Oh God. Okay.
For NBC, she's reporting on the scene at Columbia, and she's trying to tell people. She's like, anything you saw, this is not taking place on campus. Those are other people, and those are restaurants. Honey, we saw the video. Literally, she's in the position of don't believe your lying eyes. I'm here, and I'm telling you how it really is. I see.
Meanwhile, you have this poor young woman whose eye got stabbed by a Palestinian supporter. And yeah, I can't with these people. My anger is, I've been having a really tough time keeping it.
I sent her a photograph because there was a moment in time where the Jewish students were trying to walk through the commons trying to get to a particular building. They were blocking them off. Like barricaded the building. No, you're not permitted in there. And this reporter's denying it taking place. And I just sent her a photograph, black and white, from Vienna, Austria, 1938. Nazis actually arm in arm blocking Jews from getting into a school building. It's the exact same thing taking place.
Oh, and it wasn't, I mean, seriously, remember when George Wallace sent when blacks were being integrated into schools and how they were prevented from going in. It's just, but yeah, that one of the Jews being prevented by the Nazis. Oh my gosh. I'm like, you're literally repeating history. And somebody asked me, this was over in the Book of Faces, we were discussing this in a group, and they asked, they didn't ask me directly, but they asked, how is it that this is happening? And I said, we don't teach history anymore. We teach grievances. We teach hatred. We teach how inequality. We teach unfairness. We teach all of these things. We foster a feeling of complete envy and jealousy all the time.
And what they're teaching about history is that it's wrong, it's racist, it was written by white people, therefore it doesn't count. So
yeah, this is what I'm like, okay, so how about I give you books written by Germans on the rise and fall of the Third Reich? No, that you can't, I can't read that because that's,
well, Germans are white.
Yeah, but never mind that they were there. I'm like, how about you read some Eli Wiesel and maybe get back to me? And they're like, who's that? And I'm like, my God, you don't know who Eli Wiesel is. That is a tragedy in and of itself. We all grew up reading his book and about the atrocities that he suffered during the Holocaust. There are kids in college right now who don't know who this man is. And there's a big rise in those people who believe the Holocaust never happened. And that is dangerous.
Well, here's how you know the bullshit is coming from the media, because here in Florida, and you and I saw this firsthand at CPAC, a bunch of idiot LARPing as Nazis got on a street corner and were yelling and barking and waving a flag, and the press jumped all over that. Look what Ron DeSantis is fostering. Look at this hatred of Jews that he's permitting in his state. The first time these idiots showed up was on a Saturday in Orlando. 2 days earlier, Ron DeSantis was in a synagogue commemorating the Holocaust, talking about how it's a state holiday and we have to remember it and we have to fight any of these boycotts of Israel because they're an ally of ours and of this state and everything else. Could not have been more in support of the Jewish people. And the press are just like, this is just fostering anti-Semitism. And the exact same press today is defending anti-Semitism. Blatant, obvious, rampant not 9 idiots that can't even put together a softball team. Hundreds on campuses across the country doing this. And it's just soft protest against the war. That's all this is.
No.
It's mostly peaceful.
How is it that, and again, I go back to the whole thing. It's anti-war, mostly peaceful. If you're anti-war, go to where the war is and be anti-war. If you really mean it, go over there. Make a statement. Make your voice heard. Make a change over there where the war is going on. There is no reason for an anti-war protest going on in our country right now, of any sort.
No, but this is what I was touching on.
Then they're actually admitting that we are in a proxy war with either Russia and Ukraine or Israel and Hamas. And they don't want to admit that either. I mean, I know the administration has not admitted that, but you know, I'm like, this isn't Vietnam where you can have anti-war protests here while we're fighting a war over, across the Pacific. This isn't, World War II. This isn't Korea. This isn't Desert Storm, Desert Shield, Iraqi freedom, Enduring Freedom. This is none of those. This is a war that's happening somewhere else, and you're using that as an excuse to effectively terrorize a group of people.
I know you get inflamed about this kind of thing. I'm more of the mind of pointing out the idiocy to defang this, because they clearly don't know what they're talking about. They are desperate for the attention. They want to make a difference and all that bullshit. But they're fostering hatred at the same time. So it's just ridiculous as far as that goes.
It's a hellscape, and it's spreading. And I'm at the point where, how do you stop it? The only people that have the authority to stop anything are not doing anything.
I've got a way of stopping it. Robot dogs with blow torches.
I want one. I need this in my life.
This is just beautiful, these things. This is something that you'd say, wait a second, is this a thing? This is disturbing, and I want 6. There's a company out there, one of the robotics companies, and I think you can see where their focus is. Just on the very basis of the fact that the firm is called Throw Flame already, where this is going, and they offer up what they call the Terminator, a remote controlled device for sale that's capable of delivering on-demand fire anywhere. This is a robot dog that's got a flamethrower on its back, also a spotlight, also a laser.
Yeah. I have to admit, it's kind of creepy looking, because I kept looking for a tail wagging. I kept looking where the head is supposed to be. It's not there. And it's kind of, I was a little Checking up over it. But the deployment of that flamethrower is so cool. It's so awesome.
No, it definitely is. They've got a video on their website. You got to watch it because this thing is like going through forest at night and snow, and it hopped at one point. It's shooting the flame and it actually hops up in the air.
Yeah, it leaps like a dog.
It jumps and it runs over and it'll adjust and it does all these things and it's cool as hell. The hell, I had the picture. Where the hell did it go? I lost the picture. Damn it. Shit, I had it up here, but it's wicked cool. And this thing, yeah, it's affordable. It's less than $10,000. A robot dog that shoots a flamethrower. All I'm thinking, and I don't live in Florida, if you've got a walkway that's covered in snow, this thing is it. Open the door, set it down, shut the door, get on your phone, boom, guide it right down the stairs, flame your driveway and walkway, and you're set to go. I mean, this is
in my life.
This is America right here. They had that thread going the other day. Europe is sleeping. Post something they won't understand.
Yeah, exactly. Quick. Europe is sleeping. Post something you don't understand. They don't understand. This would not understand.
No.
And I'm just waiting for some Congress critter to come at me saying you should not be allowed to own that. And I'm like, there is nothing written anywhere that says I cannot. Thank you very much. As a matter of fact, I'm making plans to get a cannon.
Oh, and Danielle's beating us to the punch. Thank you, Danielle. Watch that video though. It's hilarious.
It is. It's great. It's great.
This right here is a freaking shark with a freaking laser beam on its head.
Yes, except it's a land shark or it's a dog. Okay. Mm-hmm. But yes, they have finally started delivering on the whole sharks with laser beams on their heads thing. So I do. I want one. I really, really want one. I cannot express to you how much I want this. I might even set up a Give, Send, Go or something.
I was
help Aggie get her robot dog flamethrower.
Brandon Morse posted a video the other day on his channel of like the next generation of robots that are coming out with AI. And there's a guy interviewing the robot and he's saying, it's like, well, what would you recommend that I eat? And he's like, well, I have this apple here on the table. And it doesn't talk robotic or like the AI. It actually sounded human. Like it would even have like pauses or little skips in its voice, like normal conversation. When he's like, well, it could be an apple if you would like an apple. And he'd show him putting it in a basket. And this thing is, yeah, it was something I would expect like 25 years down the road. They have it now. So we're on the verge of Skynet.
Yeah, we're a step closer. This is true.
And the guy that was interviewing it, just the very fact that I'm saying he's interviewing a robot, he even said something about like, would you be able to manufacture more of yourself? He's like, yes, I could do that. Absolutely. That's not good. You got robots that are self-aware to the point of creating themselves. Movies are about to get real.
Yeah, who knew that all of these movies in hindsight were not fiction? They're just guidebooks now. See it.
I mean, basically, they've inspired. Because something like Boston Robotics and stuff is like, hey, did you see that movie? We should try that. We should see if we can do. They have some of them, like they're robot dogs, the ones that are about 4 or 5 feet tall. Have you ever seen those? And they're kind of like military grade. But I've seen demonstrations where they put these things out in the parking lot or something. It's walking along, and they'll come up with like a keg or a 50-pound sandbag or something and smack these things in the side, and they sit and adjust now. They can like counter that and without tipping over.
Wow.
Oh, crap. That's the part that freaked me out, because they would come up and like try to tip this thing over, and upon impact, its sensors would adjust and this thing would still stay up. And wasn't like it tipped over nearly or something. It would, all four legs would start adjusting and it would still keep on its track. It was disturbing. And now they've got like the rap stars go up on stage and they'll have like 40 of these little miniature dogs dancing next to them.
Well, everybody loves dogs.
Not these, some bitches. This is like, we're really getting to that point where I'm like, we should stop. Like, no, not this. It's not a good idea. That kind of thing. But we're probably at the point where you can't stop it. So this is happening. I've got something else that we need to stop.
What's that?
Apparently this is real. Apparently this is a thing. Apparently this is a new business on the horizon if it's not here already. Something that is considered to be an aviation first. And I like how they present it in that fashion, as if this was a good idea. There's a new airline eminent to populate our airports called Wizz Air, W-I-Z-Z. And from what I understand, Wizz Air is making waves with its recent announcement that up to 10% of the flights on this airline could be powered by sustainable aviation fuel, otherwise known as SAF. Like it's one of those drugs where they pretty much concocted a new disease and they come up with it. Are you afflicted with QPL? No, I'm not, but geez, maybe I am. I should take something. What they're going to do with their sustainable air fuel, it's an innovative approach to tackling the dual challenges of waste management and sustainable air travel. If that hasn't tipped you off already, let me explain. The sustainable aviation fuel is derived from human waste.
Oh, God.
Hence the name Wizz Air. The Hungarian budget airline is joining forces with UK-based Firefly to transform sewage sludge into a biofuel that could see passengers flying on planes powered by an unusual source, human feces.
Oh, God. Because fertilizer just wasn't enough.
I'm
sorry. I'm laughing at Jeff's contribution. Fly the shitty skies.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm all for, reuse, recycle, but this is just a little out there for me.
So I just wonder, if you're on a flight and you go to the bathroom, are they going to cut you a deal on your plane ticket? Hey, I just used the head. Do I get 10% off? I don't know what would inspire. Even let's just say it's a good idea. Let's just say, oh yeah, converting human waste. Why advertise it?
Because you're trying to reach the hippies. This is a way to virtual signal as well. I don't think it works, but I think that whole mentality of saving the planet, there are people who have gone to that point where even using, human waste is something, that can be used to save the planet in some way or another. So it would help to justify plane travel for these people. For those that are
I
just,
suppose,
loath to take plane travel because, oh my God, it's contributing so much carbon to the planet, whatever.
we're reaching a point where they're trying too hard. I mean, just do your thing. Well, I'm not a basketball fan. For some reason, I'm supposed to say per se here, even though I have no idea why people do that. But interesting story. This actually comes from one of your basketball teams over there in Texas.
Yes, it does.
The Houston Rockets recently visited the Los Angeles Clippers on a road game. And they were sufficiently blasting the Rockets. It was about a 10 or 15 point spread with about a minute to play. Let's just say the game was a wash. But Boban Marjanovic took to the free throw line. If you don't know him by name, you might know him by face. He's not a pretty guy. I've seen him in Goldfish cracker commercials of all things.
Yes, he's the one that does the Goldfish cracker commercials.
I have no idea. How did that come about? The guy can barely, he's kind of self-effacing. He's, self-deprecating. He's got some humor about himself. Great. That's cool. Even translates well. I'll give you that. The inspiration is what gets me. Who thought to put this guy in a commercial, and why Goldfish of all damn things? He's like 7'5" and not pretty. Yeah, let's get him to sell our product. Okay. But he's taken to the free throw line, and like many teams in the league, I suppose, the Clippers have a deal with Chick-fil-A that anytime one of the opponents misses 2 consecutive free throws, it translates to a free chicken sandwich for those with a game stub. So basically the game was gone, and he just decided to start hamming it up to the crowd. He starts indicating to them that he's intentionally going to miss 3 free throws, and does. And so as the rebound comes, he's like waving his arms. He's running back to play defense, and the fans are loving it. So cool moment in my book. I'm not, like I said, not a basketball fan, but it was pretty cool. See a visiting player of all things actually appealing to the fans. You don't seem moved by this.
I'm just still laughing about it. I really am. I thought that was so cool. I kind of give the guy props. He was like, I'm going to give him the chicken.
And just the very fact that he was noting the fan base that he was going to do this is what cracks me up. It's like, the game's over. Why not have some damn fun? Sure enough, he did. And they loved him for it.
They did. And it was like the commentators were the ones that were funny, because they were like, oh my God, he actually did it. He gave them chicken. How do you not like a guy like this? Seriously. For him, it was all about pleasing the fans. They're not even his fans, but they were fans. They were there. They paid money to come see them play. That in itself is kind of cool, that he would actually do something for the fan base. It wasn't even his fan base, but he wanted to do something nice for them. So he missed the shot.
It's kind of cool though when you see players like that engaging with the fans on the road. It's always a cool thing. That happened with the Panthers one time. We have during one of the games they have what is it? They called it, I don't know, like celebrity lookalikes or something like that. And
Something, yeah.
so they would, and they're going through the stands and they're looking for people that look like stars. So they'll take their picture and put it up on the scoreboard next to someone else, and then the fans are kind of, yes, no, thumbs up, thumbs down, and they're doing this left and right, and 4 or 5 of them. One of the Carolina Hurricanes is in the penalty box at this time.
What?
And this is not a pretty guy. Okay. Long beard, sweaty. He's got long hair to his shoulders and such. And clearly it was ahead of time. Brent Burns is his name, and he's just known for having, like a Duck Dynasty type beard and such. So they focus on him in the penalty box, and they put Chewbacca next to him. Like
Chewbacca.
Like clearly ribbon, and he looks up and he just starts nodding his head and stands up and he just puts his arms up in the air like, you got me. Yeah, that's me. Yes. And he was having fun with it all during a commercial break. It was hilarious. And that's when you see that kind of thing happen, it's always cool because it's like, oh my God, they're human.
Yes, they are. But, they also understand that in a way, this also helps their brand because being professional athletes, they do have to cultivate a brand. And this actually gives them more exposure. I'm sure there were people who didn't know who the guy was until he pulled this stunt.
Well, I'm sure the NBA fans do. He's kind of recognized as sort. I don't know if he's like necessarily a superstar, but he's like, maybe B level, I'll say.
It's funny because when I was in Germany, Dirk Nowitzki was really big because he was from the town that I was at.
Oh,
and so there were a couple of kids that I would babysit sometimes, and Germans. And one of the girls was like, talking about Dirk this and Dirk that and Dirk this other thing and Dirk this. And I asked her, like, did you even know who he was before he started playing basketball over there? She actually said, no, it wasn't until he got famous in America that I knew who he was. And he was from that town. Okay. So once I got back, I actually bought jerseys with Nowitzki's name and everything. I sent them over there, and those girls were like beyond the moon. They thought it was the greatest thing ever. One of them actually is now married and has 2 kids and gave that jersey to her son. So
there you go.
But over there, he's still considered, one of the greatest, and everything. And admittedly, he was pretty famous over here. Yeah, but he wasn't the greatest basketball player during his time with the NBA. There were others that were far more famous and far better, but that was the quirk of him being, from Germany, and the Germans saying, oh my God, one of our boys made it.
Yeah.
Y'all need to get out more.
Well, what about you? Do you got anything of import?
I do actually. It's a very, very cute, very sweet story. As you know, my beloved Queen Elizabeth II passed away 18 months ago. And so after a certain period of observance, you can begin to put up statues in her honor. Now, these statues, a lot of people start working on the statues well before she starts passing away or before she even got sick. But the fact was, she was in her 90s, so people started doing the rough drafts, doing the rough things to get ready because they knew she was going to pass on sooner rather than later. She was the longest reigning monarch for Great Britain. And so the first statue has actually been unveiled, and it is quite possibly one of the cutest things I've ever seen in my life. I'll post a picture on in the chat. I hope it posts, but basically it's Queen Elizabeth wearing her cloak, I guess, for lack of a better term. She's wearing her ceremonial crown. She's in a long gown, but with her are 3 of her corgis. And the corgis, there's one, she's actually on a pedestal, and one of the corgis is at her feet, and then down on the below the pedestal are 2 other corgis. One has his paws on the pedestal, and the other one is looking at the visitors. It is the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. I love this thing, and when it was unveiled, a lot of corgi owners went over there because they knew that the statue was actually going to have corgis, and so now it's kind of like a corgi pilgrimage site.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very cute. It's in Oakham, and
hopefully they don't let them take a whiz on the statue.
No, you can't. You can go up to the statues. Don't get me wrong, and I'm pretty sure that people are going to rub the corgis' noses for good luck, as people are wont to do. But there are, a lot of statues are going to be going up pretty soon to commemorate the late Queen. I believe there's one that's going to be unveiled in the fall, and it shows her smiling and holding flowers. Another one is with her smiling and waving, and the royal family is actually commissioning one along with the British government to be a national memorial. So look for that one to be coming. So I thought that this choice, of her being portrayed not just regally, but with her dogs, kind of makes her more human and more, approachable, because she was a very approachable queen. So
you're just not allowed to.
Yeah.
Protocol.
That was so. Yeah, I can't seem to get it to load. Sorry, guys, but I will. Let me see if I can load the
I can't
link.
believe Danielle hasn't yet. I'm disappointed.
Well, I linked the thing, the actual, so you can see it there. But I thought that was really it was beautifully done, and the corgis stole the show, and everybody knows that the corgis always stole the show for her. They would. I remember when she went to Canada in 2007, and when she was walking and meeting everybody that came out to see her, she was walking her dogs. She had her corgis with her, and everybody was going insane because of the dogs. And it was her brand,
I can't believe they didn't have somebody to do that for her.
Well, after her mother passed away, she took care of her mother's dogs. So there was a time she had 8 corgis. But Queen Elizabeth was very adamant that she would actually walk the dogs, and she took care of the dogs. I mean, there was a dog handler to help her, but those were her dogs, and she felt that was her responsibility always. And so I don't know why they gave the last 2 corgis to her son, the one with the dubious reputation, but they did. So which upsets me greatly. I would have taken the dogs, but nobody asked me. So, but I just thought that I would put that out there because it is art, but it's also cute.
They're precious.
It was very precious. I just loved it. It was something that popped up, and I was like, oh my God. I mean, seriously, I was squeeing this afternoon when I saw that. I was just like, oh, I could not believe how adorable that thing was.
Well,
So,
I've got a Florida man story to wrap things up. Just
of
because,
course, we need to always wrap up with a Florida man story.
I mean, there was the, kind of a quaint video of an alligator getting loose in the streets, and some guy, there's like cops and other cars stopped all around it while this about 6-footer is trotting around the street side. And this guy comes ambling up. I think he was trying to trap it initially and it got loose, or he didn't get a handle on it. I don't know, but sleeveless shirt, barefooted, smiling the whole time. And he just ambles up and he finally gets the thing, jumps on its back, corrals it, cups its mouth, pulls it up, duct tapes it. And then he's walking around carrying the thing. And then just, everyone's like, wow, I mean, go with that. It's like, that's normal for here. This one I love, though. Police are called out in Port Orange, Florida. Neighbor was complaining about her next door neighbor who had driven up and threatened her with a gun.
What?
Yeah, well, these things tend to happen. She was alleging that he drove by, opened the window of his car, and told her he was going to shoot the woman. So, she probably went inside and called the cops. So the cops show up. They're talking to her. She's describing things. And next door, they hear a gunshot go off.
Holy shit.
So it's not like this guy had situational awareness. Like the cop cars didn't tip him off to maybe not discharge his weapon at that point in time. To which the woman said, do you see what I mean? Because this is all caught on body cam, by the way.
Of course it is.
And, there were other neighbors out at the time, and they're like, oh, yeah, this guy's out of control. But boom, gunshot goes off. So the cops go over and see the guy, and they're like, dude, okay, he's got sunglasses on, middle of the night, for one thing. He's got 2 beer cans in his hand, in each hand, I should say. No gun. They're asking if he's got a gun. He's like, no, and he holds his arms up. And he said, do you have any guns? He's like, not on me. I got a couple inside. And they found a revolver that had a discharged casing in it. So he's holding the beer. And he actually says to them, well, is it okay if I crack this beer since I'm getting arrested anyway?
Wow. Holy cow.
Like, just listen to me. He's like, dude, the beer is cold, sir. I just want to drink it while you're checking me. I mean, that's you just gotta love the dedication. You're like, all right, well, I'm gonna get arrested anyway. Why not? I just maybe smart of him that he didn't shotgun the beer, considering the situation at hand.
I actually had a friend when I worked for Suncoast. He was really upset because he got stopped by a police officer, and I'm like, okay, why are you upset? Where did you get stopped? I need the details. And he said, well, I guess I was doing 40 in a 25. And I'm like, okay, that's probably the reason you got stopped. Yeah. And he said, yeah, but it could have been scary because I was coming from the bar. And I told him, I said, a friend of mine told me that if you get pulled over because they think you've been drinking, you get out of the car, you pop open a beer, and you start drinking it right in front of them. But you have to open the beer as they're watching you. You can't do it in the car and then come out. You have to make sure they witness you opening the beer, because that will just throw the breathalyzer or anything out the window, and they will not be able to do anything about it. And he looks at me and says, how do you know that? I'm like, I know a lot of cops. And I did. And they all said the same thing. Yeah, we can't do a damn thing if somebody does that. So, yeah, FYI, if anybody ever pulls you over, have an emergency can of beer.
Our public service announcement.
An emergency can of beer in case being pulled over break glass.
Exactly.
Honestly, that's just bizarre. But Florida,
Yeah, well, that's the way we roll here. Hey, well, I'm busted anyway. May as well have fun. I love the fact that he does that and also admits to having the guns in the house. I mean,
just
the guns are in the house, you're outside. They have no probable cause to go in. They have no reason to go in until you invite them in, like vampires, you idiot.
Yeah, exactly. They're vampires. That's exactly what it is. And always, always be a smart ass. Because it will, you got to trap them with proper grammar. Can we come inside your home? I don't know. Can you? It will trip them up all the time. Because either A, they will understand they made a grammatical mistake, or B, they'll be so confused that they will not know what to do. I've actually seen this happen. I was riding along with my brother-in-law one night, and he's with his deputy, and I'm in the back seat, and they respond to a call, and the deputy's with him, and I guess he's kind of like training or something, and the deputy says, "Can we come inside?" Lady said, "Can you?" My brother-in-law is like, "It's May. May we come inside, ma'am?" Yeah, sure you can. She let them in. But I mean, I saw that firsthand. So it works.
Yeah, I would think that would kind of chap their ass a little bit and get them more prone to arrest you. But that's just
it's
where my head's at.
It's a Southern thing, I guess. Maybe it'll kick they'll kick your ass up north with it, but down here it's like, oh, that's right. We should use proper grammar.
Well, I think I'm out of material. How about you?
Yeah, I'm pretty done. So, well, Brad, take a deep breath. Tell us where we can find you.
Well, apart from this show, I will be here Thursday evening with a mysterious movie offering on Disasters in the Making with Paul Young from ScreenRant.com as we go through the dark side of Hollywood and bad movies. And you can hear me alternate Thursdays. I'm here with Orty Packard. He and I guide you through all the important entertainment information that's available on The Culture Shift. And, of course, every Tuesday here on the Cocktail Lounge with the ever-effervescent Aggie Regan. Also, you can read my scrawlings on a daily basis over at townhall.com with my media column there, riffed from the headlines, and also on the front page of Red State, where I also have my twice-weekly podcast, Liable Sources, where I dive into the muck and mire of the mainstream media. And if you need more of me than that, and less space you do, if you head over to Jitter, I'm at Martini Shark. And how about yourself, Aggie? Where can people find more of your magnificence?
Well, you can find me at Aggie Regan and at Aggie the Barkeep. Those are over on X. You can find me 8:30 p.m. Eastern Tuesday nights doing the Cocktail Lounge with the Ever Swap You. Also 8:30 p.m. Eastern Friday nights doing He Said, She Said with our awesome producer, Rick. Last Wednesday of every month at 8 p.m. Eastern, we do Toxic Masculinity, where Rick, Orty G, and Andrew come and talk about guy stuff and host the Babe of the Month, and I bring the drink of the evening. And Jeff and I do our book podcast called Spirited Books. That's every second Monday of the month at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, also known as Aggie Time, apparently. Thank you for joining us, everyone, and we hope you have a lovely evening tonight.
Now go raise a glass and look at the ceiling.